All right, come on, airplane. Let's go. It's like they out here today. They out here today. They out here today. Welcome back, everybody. So this video is going to be about the time that the Exterminator told me that I was a healer. Now you're probably like, what? The Exterminator told you was a healer? I know, but listen up. So we were going to get our apartment exterminated, and I always usually try to leave the apartment when that's going to happen because I'm not trying to smell, all those toxins and shit. Like, I'm not trying to inhale any of that. But for some reason on this day, I was like struggling with the decision of should I stay in the apartment or should I go outside. I don't know why. Normally I always go outside. I never stay in there while they're doing their thing. But I kept going back and forth, like, should I stay? Should I not? Should I stay? Should I not? And ultimately, wait, how do you say that word? Ultimately, I thought it was ultimately, I decided to stay. So, he comes over, he starts spraying the corners and whatnot. And I noticed that as he's spraying, he's like glancing over at me, like little glances like that. And I was like, okay, like, you want to have a conversation or you have a question or something? Anyways, so I'm about to move the oven with him. I'm gonna help him move the oven. I mean, it's not my job, but I was there, and if I could help, why not? So I start pulling the oven out with him, and he stops and just turns and looks at me like this. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, did I do something wrong? Or like, and he looks me dead in my eye and he goes, I'm gonna just talk over it, fuck it. He looks me dead in my eye and he goes, do you know why you're here? And I'm like, yeah, like, you're treating the apartment, you're the exterminator, I'm helping you move the oven. I live here. And then he gets closer to me, like, no, do you know why you're here? And he got this close to my face, and the way he looked into my eye when he said that, it's like something went zing. And I understood what he was asking me at that time. But I didn't want to respond because I wanted to see where he was going with it. And I always knew why I was here. Like, I always knew my purpose, was to help people and work with people and uplift people and whatnot. Actually, let me backtrack. So this was a time that I was actually transitioning. I was about to quit the hospital job I had to start life coaching because I wanted to start working with people. I just felt like it was my calling. It was time. And that's when this incident happened. So that's what I was going through in that period on the day that happened, right? And then after he asked me, do I know why I'm here for the second time? I didn't say anything because I wanted to see where he was gonna go with it. So he let go of the oven and he stands straight up and he's still looking at me, and he's like, did you ever feel different growing up or your whole life? Did you feel like you was having a different experience than other people? And I was like, yeah, basically. I mean, I was telling people I was an alien when I was like 4 or 5, and I believed that shit because the human experience just didn't resonate with me. I always thought like rules and school and the idea of like adults and kids and having to obey was always kind of weird. It was always strange to me. It seemed like it was a lot easier for other people, other kids around me to kind of just accept it. But for me, it was always strange. And I didn't know why. So that was that. So he goes, okay, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes. And at this point, I didn't know if he was gonna kiss me, if he was gonna touch me, if he was gonna try to rob me. I was like, whatever, but I closed my eyes. And he says, you're here to wake people up. You're here to help people. You're a healer. You're supposed to be working with people. You were put here in this experience, in this world, to uplift people and take people out of their darkness. You need to be that person that you always felt you were, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what goes on in your life. That is your nature. That is your sole purpose on this planet. And that I'm going to encounter a lot of people that are going to be at a low point in their lives when I meet them, and that's specifically why they encounter me, because I'm there to help them out of that, to guide them out of that, to hold a space for them to see the world differently, to see that there is hope, that life can be wholesome and full of joy. It's not my responsibility to, but I'm going to be there to assist them on the journey if they are open to receiving assistance, if they're ready for it, if they're not. So he basically read me. When I finally opened my eyes, there's like tears rolling down my cheeks, because he's literally confirming everything I've always felt, confirming what I was going through at that moment, you know, being in transition, quitting a job that I felt served its purpose, and going into a new path that I felt served me more, that was, you know, who I am at a soul level. And he's just telling me all this. And I'm like, how do you know all this? And he's like, well, actually, I may be an exterminator here in America. I may look like an exterminator. If you saw me in the street, you wouldn't think anything differently, but I'm actually a shaman back home in Peru. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I think that's what I said. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And not only that, but he explained to me that he is very sensitive to energy. Even before meeting somebody, that he can kind of anticipate or feel the person's energy even before he physically interacts with them. And he said he could sense that I was struggling with either staying in the apartment or going out, and that I kept going back and forth. And the way he explained it to me was that, you know, I have my side that is very sure about my path and the lifestyle that I want to lead and my purpose here on this planet. But then I still have my other side that is kind of like counteracting that, or there's another energy that may not necessarily want to pursue that path, even though I know that it's kind of what I'm supposed to be doing, which was totally true at the time. Like, I was struggling whether, do I really want to help people? Like, it's draining. I'm already an empath. I'm sensitive to energy. Is this what I'm going to create my life around? And he basically told me that's what it was. You just never know what energy people carry with them. You just never know who people are. I mean, yeah, we all have our roles, you know, doctor, lawyer, therapist, exterminator, construction man, but you don't know what people are carrying inside them. You don't know people's experiences. This is a role we play every day. You know, we clock in, do a little 9 to 5, sit at the desk or whatever your job is. But we're so much more than that. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we're so much more than the role that we show up to every day. And it was just amazing. It was an amazing experience. I'm glad I ended up staying in the apartment, and that he gave me that message. I still think about it, and I'm just in awe of how someone can just pick things up like that about people. Which I have experienced to an extent when meeting like strangers. Like, there's just some people that you feel like an energy from them, or you see like their aura, or there's a light about them, and you just know that, you know, they swim in this world, or that they're here to like heal, or, you know, just be of help to people. Some people just have that spirit. It's such a strong energy, but it's like a beautiful energy about people, which I love. That's the people you gotta find. That's the people you gotta interact with. The people that have a light about them. You don't know, you might not know what it means, you might not know how to explain it, but you feel it. You feel it. So yeah, that's my story. The exterminator was a shaman, and he told me that I'm a healer, and that was probably one of the best moments of my life, I have to say, because I was definitely I was struggling with what I wanted to do and purpose, and it's like he showed up right when I needed some validation. And that's my story. Intuition. I think it ties back to intuition too. Just always trust your intuition. My intuition says stay your ass home. So I stood my ass home, and I met a exterminator / shaman from Peru who basically confirmed what I felt. So intuition, man. You never know. Your next exterminator might be a shaman too. You might want to hang around the apartment. Maybe with the mask though, so you don't have to inhale, you know, the fumes and whatnot. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, click, share, bell, rewatch, whatever else they say these days. Bye. Yeah.